Greetings, unsettled souls, and welcome to the Correct Views. Sam I.B. the Gangi doing political commentary for The Media Speaks. Yes, indeed, it's true. Alright, guys, and this is going to be like one of the longest shows we've ever done here, and I'll tell you why. The Christmas holiday and everything has backed me up incredibly. I have never done a show as big as the one that I'm about to do here. It's that simple, friends. I've got idiots coming out of places that idiots shouldn't be. There's something I have to get to before I even do that. And you guys all love these Dumdy shows. Everybody tunes in for the Dumdy shows. They want to know how stupid people can possibly be. Oh, man, you have no idea. Just you wait. One thing I do have to do, though, is ever so quickly is address a listener question. Shout out to Charles Ward. He mentioned, why don't I break these up into segments or do smaller shows? And it's a question I've gotten before, and it's a very good question. The answer to that is a bit boring, but that's okay. The show isn't, so you'll love it. The easy answer is there's an HDEF here that's got this microphone. And there is the live that is this microphone. And this is run through Google Hangout. I'm a member of The Media Speaks. What that means is every time I would do a segment, I would have to shut one camera off to start the other one. I could theoretically edit the HDEF down. This one's live, but the HDEF. But that's not going to help me because I don't own any video software that's able to read the HDEF. Now that I don't have Adobe Premiere. I actually went to school and got a degree in IMT, but I don't have Adobe Premiere because it's extremely expensive. That answers the question of the day, and that brings us to where you guys have to vote before we get into the Dumdies. It's time for you guys to vote. So what are you voting on? Well, you have to vote for the Dumdy of the year. That's right. We do the Dunce Cap of the Month once a month, and we do the Dunce Cap of the Year once a year. You guys vote on it. So real quick, here's a rundown of the 12 stories that you're choosing from. One is for the Illinois EPA. Remember, they got a dunce cap for saying you have to watch how you get rid of pumpkins or you will create global warming on Halloween. Also, don't forget, we got the EPA was saying sunlight is bad for plants. That's in the running. Regina Sinsick started off the year of Dumdies by saying that a white background and a light was a trademarked photo setup. Like she thought of it. It's only been used since the birth of the camera. She tried to patent it. We got, of course, the Pinellas County for the barbecue fail. That was a big one. Literally, the smoke of the barbecue was considered dangerous, and they shut the barbecue down. We have the teenager who built a tree house, and their family almost got fined and otherwise harassed by the law. That's in the running. The Florida CPS who took a kid away from his family because the kid was playing in his own yard. He wasn't supervised. He was on his own property. CPS took him. We got the armed forces wearing high heels. Remember that? Meanwhile, ISIS is cutting people's heads off. We're putting our troops in high heels so they can relate to women. Matt Fairbanks from the DEA, because he was worried about, now that pot's legal, what's going to happen to stoned rabbits who eat it. No, I'm not making it up. You can look all these stories up. You can see them on Fact Cam here. College punished a man who looked like a girl's rapist. He was not the girl's rapist. He showed up to school, looked like her rapist, and they punished him. That's in the running. And then, of course, the two that I would pick. This is my vote for whatever it's worth. The school that said that you could defend yourself against an AK-47 by stashing canned corn around to throw at an attacker because it'll really hurt them. I didn't make it up. It's true, friends. I swear to God it is. And they've got Free Bleeding, the drummer from MIA, ran a marathon on her period and bled down her legs because she's up for women. That's definitely in the running. And the last one, of course, even more than the corn. This is my choice. It was down between the corn and this, but no, this wins. The doctor, Michael First, professor of clinical psychiatry at Columbia University, who thinks it's ethical for a person to personally and purposefully blind themselves with Drano. Yes, it happened exactly the way I said it did. Look up blind with Drano, chose to be blind. All right, I need you to pick which of those 12. And every year I tell you what I'm going to send you, bigger this year. And I'm not even going to tell you what all it is. You're going to get passing time music. You're going to get your favorite charity donated to. I'm going to send maybe a little piece of silver. How about that? Would that be cool? Yeah. You know what? You got to get your vote in by January 25th. January 25th. That's my birthday. That's what I want for my birthday. Pick one of those 12 and let me know which one you think is the dumbest. And friends, that brings us to the Dunce Cap of the Month show. And some of these are so, well, I've got like 27 articles here. So I'm only going to read you the headline of most of them, and you can look it up. One of the reasons is I asked you guys to let me know if you wanted the Christmas stories that I wasn't able to get to. And I got a whole bunch of emails of people that did. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but no matter what season it is a lot of stupidity. So I'm going to go ahead and get to those stories as well. I'll let you know where to look all of this up. So if you want to see it yourself, of course, it's on Fact Cam here. Then you can look them up. And why do I do this? Why do I do this show? I want you to contact the people that I'm telling you that created this stupidity and just creating these problems. And I want you to contact them and tell them you heard about it and let them know you're angry about it. These are your tax dollars being wasted. This is your rights being taken away. And this is just stupidity taking over the culture. Students demand building called Lynch be renamed because of racial overtones. Now, you would think, well, it's called the Lynch building because they used to lynch people at it. Sam, why wouldn't you want it changed? No, that's not what it's for. Students at a small Pennsylvania college are demanding that administrators rename the Lynch Memorial Building because of racial overtones. The building is named after Clyde A. Lynch, who was president of Lebanon Valley from 1932 to his death in 1950. In other words, it has nothing to do with lynching. The students want school officials to either rename the building entirely or add Lynch's first name to it. What's funny about that is that's also the name of our new Fed head is Lynch. So that's one dumdy right there. Another one, campus reform. UPenn drops faculty master title over racial connotations. The University of Pennsylvania has, what the hell is wrong with PA? The University of Pennsylvania has dropped its faculty master title in favor of faculty director amid concerns that the old moniker is racist. Now, do we not teach people that words have more than one meaning in school anymore? Do we not do that? Has that somehow been lost, or do we not do it anymore? Maybe I'm, old-fashioned here. Does not mean master. Nope, doesn't at all. Doesn't, I'm a slave and master. No. If you master something, you are a master of something. It has many, I don't even believe I have to describe this. That's why it's the dumbity of the day. The policy change was announced in an email at College House faculty Wednesday from College of Arts and Sciences Dean Dennis D. Kirk, who you want to call up and call him, he's an idiot. Dennis D. Kirk, College of Arts and Sciences, Pennsylvania. Let him know he's an idiot for capitulating to this brain rot. Master has connotations towards slavery. No, it doesn't unless you're an idiot. Why don't you learn how to read before you do something? How do these people end up leading a college? A current Nemo prison planet. DHS, excuse for not sharing Malik Jihadi messages does not make sense. Now listen to this. This, of course, are the people that did the killing spree in San Bernardino that everybody rushed to say was an unhinged white person. The claim of Homeland Security failed to share with immigration on social media posts of Tashfeen Malik prior to approving her visa does not hold up under scrutiny. The official excuse is that the government feared a civil liberties backlash and bad public relations, and because of this refused to end their secret policy prohibiting immigration officials from reviewing social media messages of foreign applies for visas. It says we are told the reason for this widespread surveillance is to detect and prevent terrorism. If this were indeed true, the information on Malik would have been shared with immigration. The bad PR and supposed sensitivity to civil liberties excuse offered by the government is betrayed by its widely documented behavior. In 2013, former NSA contractor Edward Snowden disclosed how the agency mines Facebook and Twitter to create social connection maps. She was posting it online, and yet they said they didn't want to ring any bells by mentioning it. You know what you need to do? You need to call the Department of Homeland Security and let them know that you know better. Let them know. Say, hey, what are you here for? What are you here for? You spy on everybody's private messages, and yet somebody posts something on Facebook saying they're going to start killing people, and you don't do anything about it. So yeah, am I saying call the Department of Homeland Security politely and non-threateningly? Yes, I am. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. I wouldn't want to be ambiguous. Another PJ Dub, Prison Planet student gets 6 months suspension for saying black women are not hot. Now, I think that's a crappy thing to say. And when you see him, you're racist. No, I made out with a black girl when I was single, and it was mind-blowing. I have no problem with it. But you are allowed to say whatever you please. I think he's a bonehead. I think he's an idiot. But you know what? He doesn't have to watch what he says. This is not China, nor do we want it to be. An idiot, a student was suspended from college for 6 months for saying that black women are not hot. Another individual who connected that white people have small dicks are always fucking their cousins was not punished. So the person of color that accused all white people of effing their cousins and having small dicks did not get punished. But the person who said that black women were not attractive did. This is Colorado College, so-called Colorado College. Why am I doing this show? So that you call Colorado College. Let them know, hey, we have a First Amendment in this country. And if you are going to punish one idiot, then you have to punish both. But you really should punish neither. But Sam, you're white. He's saying you have a small dick. He's allowed to. Allowed to say whatever he damn well pleases. Colorado College took action against Thaddeus Pryor after he was publicly shamed and outed for making the remark on the social media app Yik Yak. So he didn't even say it in school. He said it on a social media app. And even if you find what he's saying to be truly disgusting, you need to understand if they can go after him and spy on his private apps and punish him for what he says in his private time, then they can do it to you for anything. They can do it to Christians. They can do it to atheists. They can do it to Islamists. They can do it to anybody they want. They can do it to people that speak out against the government. That is why you have to call Colorado College and let them know what the First Amendment is. Daily Caller, professor blames white privilege for the existence of Michigan. You know, sometimes doing this story, doing the show, hurts my brain. The Dunce Cap of the Month award show is so full of other idiots that I can feel myself getting stupider just literally telling people about them. A professor at Calvin College in Michigan, who should you contact when you realize that he's an idiot? Calvin College in Michigan, wrote a column accusing his students and fellow faculty members, one of their faculty masters, of being white supremacists for failing to accept the notion of white privilege. The professor also says Calvin College itself and the entire staff at Michigan only exist because of said white privilege. This reminds me of the bonehead that went on hunger strike complaining about white privilege when he had more money, millionaire family, more money than any white person that I really know. This division by color, division by race, division by religion, division by anything is going to destroy us. Okay, there is no white privilege. There isn't. I'm white, and I've never been privileged to anything. I'm a DJ, and you are one of the things, just one of many. They say if you look at the what is white privilege, can you go into a bar and expect to hear music that is indicative of your race? No. Most bars I go into, I'm listening to gangsters talk about shooting each other. Okay, is that black privilege? No, it's not. There is no privilege on either side. The only thing there is black people getting hosed and white people getting hosed by a government and a new world system that has absolutely gone out of control. Meanwhile, we're worrying about how much pigment is in our skin. In late November, Calvin College endured a small scandal when swastikas and the words white power were found written on several cars using snow. 2 students confessed to the deeds, but their crimes, motivations, and punishment haven't been revealed, leaving open the possibility that the stunt was a hoax or a poorly conceived prank. It probably was. According to Joseph Kulema, a professor in social work, the swastika incident is only one of a tiny part of the greater problem of white privilege. If white people were so privileged, then they wouldn't be doing it to black people that were in the school. It's very obvious that black people must be as privileged as white if the school has white and black people in it. Common sense will get you through the day, I'm just saying. What occurred was not an isolated incident or a freak occurrence, he claims. While few members of this community openly espouse white supremacy, many members of our community continue to deny white privilege. That's because there is no white privilege, you stupid bastard. Yes, I said it. Edition.cnn.com. Dutch Museum renaming art for cultural sensitivity. Literally going back and airbrushing history. Do you realize that? CNN, Amsterdam's acclaimed Rijksmuseum has started renaming works of art in its vast collection whose titles could be considered inappropriate by a modern audience. So in other words, don't look up what master really means in the context that it's used. Don't pick up a book and learn something about the history of the English language. Just sponge the person's name off the building. Don't bother to actually study the fact that the word Negro was never considered racist, ever. That it was usually the word people used when they didn't want to offend someone, when they were trying to be nice. Words considered derogatory like Negro. How is Negro derogatory? Caucasian derogatory. Doesn't make any sense. Which were once used casually by Europeans, but will be replaced in the museum's digital catalog as well as text descriptions next to objects in the gallery. In other words, don't look up the context of the work of art. No, just assume that we're going to change the entire name of it. So yeah, now young Negro girl will be known as picture of girl holding a fan. Now keep in mind, the artist was never racist. Then wouldn't it sound like we're talking about racist artists here? The word could be taken wrong. Yeah, if you don't know any history, if you're an idiot. If you're an idiot, of course it can. The initiative started 6 years ago, but took a backseat until the museum's mammoth 10-year renovation project was done. Now that they got the money off everybody, they're going to hose the people that invested in them by doing utter stupidity. Eskimo is considered offensive. Now, this is ridiculous. My ex-girlfriend was an Eskimo. She was proud to be an Eskimo. She used to talk about being an Eskimo all the time. Of course she should be proud. It's her heritage. It's not racist to call an Eskimo an Eskimo. They're not whitewashing history. They're saying, no, not at all. Not a bit. Well, why would you think that? Moving on, friends. That's one museum I'll never be going to. That's for damn sure. Kit Daniels, Prison Planet. Global warming. How can we have a dummy without global warming? Democrats claim the climate isn't weather. They oppose the dictionary definition. This is why. Nobody knows how to use a dictionary anymore. You thought I was kidding, didn't you? No, I wasn't. This DCCC made the claim in a handout entitled A Democrat's Guide to Talking Points to Climate Change Skeptics. Not skeptics. We know how to read a science paper. We know that man has not warmed the planet. We know the planet hasn't warmed in 15 to 18 years. That is scientific fact. Anyway, as the title implies, it is meant to advise Democrats, misguided, on how to criticize those who question global warming. No, those who know that it doesn't exist. Climate isn't the same as weather, the guide claims. Individual cold days or hot days don't mean much, but the average global temperature has risen over the last century. 14 to 15 the hottest years on record since the year 2000. That's not true at all, by the way. That is an absolute lie that has been debunked by everybody, including Noah. Dictionary.com defines climate as the composite or generally prevailing weather conditions of a region. Need I say more? They literally said that climate doesn't mean exactly what climate means. Why? Because if they can get you tied up in semantics, then you won't look up the actual science. Just like you won't look up who Charles Lynch was. You won't look up the actual science and see that there is no proof whatsoever that man has warmed the planet at all. Zero. Actually, there's proof contrary that we haven't. CNNsnews.com. Patrick Goodenow, still only one Christian out of 382. We have 383 Syrian refugees admitted since the Paris attacks, and one of them were Christians. Never mind that it's the Christians who were displaced from a place that they have been in longer than there has even been an Islamic religion. Oh yeah, you gotta be, the Jews have Palestine's land. The Arabs have stolen Christian land for years. And it was definitely the Christian lands since there wasn't even a Muhammad yet. Muhammad hadn't slept with his first 9-year-old yet. The Obama administration has admitted 383 Syrian refugees into the United States, and of course, 0.02% were Christians. The people that are Christians have pretty much been left to rot. Okay, that's pretty much what's happened. They have utterly been left to rot. Louder with Crowder. Steve Crowder is quickly becoming my favorite of the news journalists, and this guy is wonderful. Transgenders now demand that their surgeries be covered as non-cosmetic. Isn't this fun? You know how transgenders choose to change their gender for entirely cosmetic reasons? Right. Well, now they're trying to claim that it's not cosmetic and should be covered under insurance. For decades, it says transgender people have been denied coverage for surgery, as they should be. Mental health therapy, which I would argue they need. Hair removal and medications that would help them transition to another gender. Good, then don't transition to another gender. Problem solved. Anything related to transgender health was excluded from insurance plans, as it should be. And now they're saying that they're not cosmetic. I'm not going to read the whole paragraph. Calling non-functioning, non-real sex organs cosmetic. Listen to the next part. He writes, it's cute. Every time I get out of the shower and I look at myself in the mirror, I think, that's not what I want, she said. It's a big deal every day. I feel like with this body I have, I can't imagine being in a relationship with someone. Actually, writes Crowder, that's the very definition of cosmetic surgery. Most people get out of the shower and look at themselves in the mirror and think, I want less of that. Or I wish that these were bigger. That's exactly how I feel about my back hair. You feel the same way about your penis, he writes. But of course, you have to pretend transgenders are normal because tolerance and cis male privilege or something. So instead, we must turn a blind eye to these people who pump themselves full of hormones, often carcinogenic ones as the link for it that cause cancer, mutilate their genitals, replace them with problematic, non-functioning, that is, don't even work, genitals, and act as though it's entirely normal and non-cosmetic. Yeah, did you know that? Did you know that a lot of times the plumbing that you get down there doesn't work when you're done? Yeah, that's sane. Of course, we have to pretend they're normal always. Combine this with Obamacare, which again is an amazing crap storm to start the new year. You can be sure that plenty of these non-cosmetic procedures will cost the taxpayers plenty. Everyone must buy insurance or face criminal penalty. Thank you, Obama. Insurance companies cannot deny people pre-existing conditions, including body dysmorphia, which means literally it's in their head. Insurance companies cannot deny birth control as women's health coverage. Liberals want male to female transsexuals to be legally defined as female, and liberals want to legally define cosmetic surgery as non-cosmetic and non-effective, and women's health. In other words, what she just described as cosmetic, she was trying to use as an argument to say that it wasn't cosmetic. Brought to you by Mike McLaughlin, MacLughlan, one of the best fictional writers that stand today. Look up Mike McLaughlin on Facebook. Michael Snyder, End of the American Dream. Guns in church. Security is heightened as FEMA helps churches to prepare for active shooter incidents. They're debating whether or not guns should be brought into church. What's funny is throughout, I'm just going to be real quick on this. You can look it up. It's End of the American Dream. Schools. It used to be mandatory that you had a gun in school. In churches. Did you know that? It's mentioned here in the article. It used to be, there would always be someone there because bandits and that used to roam the Old West. And they would try to rob the church and steal because they knew people had money because they were donating it to the church, of course. Go to the article for more. End of the American Dream. They would rob the people in the church because they knew they had money. So they would have armed guards there. Now, you'll say, Sam, it's 2016. We don't need that now. We have people being shot in churches. Oh, I'm racist because I don't believe in white privilege. I'll tell you what, those people in that black church should have blown that white freak away the moment he stood on their front. Blam, gone, dead, bye, whitey. Yeah, I said it. I was completely in favor of them defending themselves. We live in a sick world, and you know what? It was a sick world in the Old West when people used to bring guns there, and it's a sick world now. And you know what? It's time for us to understand that we're not ever going to be able to fix that. But one thing we can do is at least make it a little bit safer for those who still worship. On NewYork.cbssocial.com, police say a man and a woman assault a blind Salvation Army bell ringer at White Plains residence. It is a white person and a black person. You know what? I don't see color. I see scum, and I see scum. How about you? After police said they assaulted a Salvation Army bell ringer at a restaurant in White Plains, it happened at 3 p.m. Saturday at the Smash Burger on Tarleton Road. Police say a 41-year-old bell ringer who is legally blind. He was volunteering and he was blind. Was on his break and standing in line with 30-year-old Ron Rodriguez and 21-year-old Adriana Wignall when Rodriguez accused the victim of cutting the line. That's when police said Rodriguez punched the victim, knocking him to the ground. He then stabbed the victim and continued to hit him in the head while Wignall kicked him. So there you go. There's some nice people for you. Mentioned them here on the Dumb the other day. Dunce Capital Month. So way to go, scum. We got from mrctv.org a video. Students sign a petition to ban the racist song White Christmas from the radio. Yep. White Christmas, meaning snow. But unless you live in Fukushima or Chernobyl, the snow isn't black. Therefore, because you're not singing about a black Christmas, you're racist. This is another incident of college-age students being too stupid to learn anything about history, their own history, White Christmas, and students and administrators, teachers and administrators and masters being too stupid to teach anyone anything. Last week, I presented some college students with a petition urging radio stations to stop playing the holiday classic White Christmas because the song focuses on white Christmases. This clearly makes it racially insensitive, since it completely ignores Christmases and all their colors. Students were all too willing to check their privilege and take a stand. That's right, you can see the video there. They line up to ban White Christmas. Again, it's a parody, but you get the point. They actually fell for it. WashingtonTimes.com. Did you know they banned Christmas in Brunei? Merry Christmas, Brunei. So the clock is counting down. This was dated before Christmas, and most of the world will celebrate Christmas. Russia, part of the Orthodox. But on the 25th Western Pacific, Christmas has been banned and was banned in Brunei. Why? Because of Muslims. Now, I'm not saying that all Muslims want to do this. Here's what I am saying. In America, most Americans do not want us involved in the foreign policy wars that we are involved in. But the worst of the worst have ascended to leadership status in our country. Well, guess what? Islam seems to have a major problem with the worst of the worst getting in charge of their countries when they take over. It goes from tolerant to Muslim to Sharia. Why? I don't know, but it does. December 22nd, angered by her, this is great, this is from Smoking Gun. Cops, a woman beat her husband over flashlights. That is farting for you Lady Gaga fans. Angered by her husband's repeated farting in bed. A real genius. A Florida woman allegedly elbowed, kicked, and scratched her spouse. Police who arrested her for battery. Don Meal, 55, there she is, back down. Is facing misdemeanor charges following a 3:20 a.m. confrontation in Port St. Lucie in a home that she shared with her husband. She threw him on the bed when he passed gas. He came back into bed, passed gas again, and she began elbowing and kicking him. He sought to restrain her. She scratched him and beat him several times. She pepper sprayed him as well. Do you see the stupidity that is rampant in our nation? It's not just our leaders. As you can see from the Bell Rayner story and now this, we have the dumbest people ever in our country right now. I've never, ever witnessed anything in any nation as powerful as us being so stupid. CNS News, Representative Frank Obama, how much longer will you remain appallingly silent on Islamic State genocide of Christians? Dumdy here going to Obama. Trent Franks reminded the president about the brutal persecution of Christians, Yazidis, and other religious groups by the Islamic State and questioned why Obama has been so appallingly silent. That speaks for itself. You can read that article quickly. End of the American Dream again. Michael Snyder, the Pope, says that this Christmas is a charade and that for some people, it may be their last. This is what he said. He talks about the terrorist attacks, of course. He said, it's all a charade. The world has not understood the way of peace. The whole world is at war. What he said is actually true in every possible way. But it goes on. The 79-year-old pontiff said, while the world starves, burns, and descends further into chaos, we should realize that this year's Christmas celebrations for those who choose to celebrate it may be their last. Now, is he just saying that this is for the poor Christians being butchered in the Middle East, or is he saying that this is something we don't know? A lot of people that said that he could be the last hope. So, I mean, food for thought. Dr. Pontiff saying last Christmas would have been the last Christmas. Campus reform. Anthony Gutowski, psych professor, says the Beatles fans have powers and privilege. That's right. You're a Beatles fan. You have power and privilege. Professor Adam Rodriguez of Notre Dame University in Belmont, California, published an op-ed in the Huffington Compost, directed at a friend who has found it impossible that he would not love the Beatles. According to Adam Rodriguez, the professor who you should write and tell him he's an idiot at Notre Dame University, has enjoyed the privilege of not having to consider that there are people in the world that don't have the same relationship to music. So Rodriguez took to the keyboard to type out his frustrations, saying, for him, that was a given. The given was that everybody would love the Beatles. My lack of interest in their music could only be understood by him as psychopathy. So it's all about privilege if you like the Beatles. What's funny is, I guess I'm right privileged. I've never been that big of a fan. I think the Beatles were okay. The Doors were far better. Whatever. Mine, see with the Dumbies right now. We're getting into the meat and potato Dumbies too. As you can see, top that we're winding down quickly. Christians in China feel the full force of authorities' repression. That's just a quick one. Pastor Su Tiafu slides in the back seat and tells the driver to hit it. Why? Because in the days before Christmas, instead of working on his sermon, he's trying to lose the tail in China. In other words, they say, oh, you can have Christian sermons. And then they follow the pastors around, and they call that freedom. That's a self-explanatory dumbie as well. You can look that story up. The credit card data reveals first holiday spending decline since the Great Recession. Tyler Durden, 12/2/2015. The reason I give this to dumbie is because you had according to the BRFA, that the holiday was particularly low this year, but that it was greatly going to pick up. Well, BRFA, guess what? It did not. And for 3 weeks ending on Black Friday, the bank finds that early holiday sales were down 1.2%. Well, you know what? It never went back up. So all you people that based your year-end stock buys on the BRFA, guess what? You got hosed. Thank you, Tyler Durden. The Denver Post police, man in Santa suit, stabs bus rider in Lakewood, flees on foot. Now, I wish the Santa had been the one that was robbed, and we could have evened this out. Kirk Mitchell, Lakewood police are searching for a man who was dressed like Santa. Wow, he looks like Santa. He's easy to find. Why? Because he allegedly stabbed another man on an RTD bus early Thursday morning. The 33-year-old victim was taken to the hospital saying he was stabbed by Santa Claus. They'd like to get the dangerous man off the street. No crap, you don't say. Maybe you might want to do that. I don't know. Call a hunch. DailyCaller.com. Town of Bethlehem bans Merry Christmas signs. Don't give me separation of church and state. What that means is the government cannot endorse a religion. It does not mean that anyone cannot display a religion. Learn what definitions mean. That's kind of been the resounding theme in this show, hasn't it? Casey Harper. The town of Bethlehem, named after the birthplace of Jesus Christ, has banned signs celebrating the holidays. At the intersection in the town, it's become a local battleground for the war on Christmas. So Bethlehem has banned anything that has to do with Christmas as not to offend anybody. The Christian legal group, the Alliance Defending Freedom, has weighed in to let the town know they should not be afraid. No one should fear saying Merry Christmas on a sign like this, and it will violate the Constitution, because it does not. The courts all the way up to the U.S. Supreme Court have declared that the government can erect Christmas signs and displays, including nativity scenes, without having the fear of constitutional violation. How long until they want to change the name from Bethlehem? Mark my words. How long? Dumpty of the day. I told you, Dumpty. We get dumber as we go. Daily Mail. This is brought to you by Change Transportation. If you're within a 50-mile radius of Canton, Ohio, look up Change Transportation. You're getting a better deal than you will from anyone else. Monkey steals a bus and crashes it into two parked vehicles while driver takes a nap in India. He's probably got a contract like the one I had when I drove for Yellow Cab. where they drove you to the point of exhaustion and you'd make $40 in a day and starve to death. But this driver had to be mentioned in our show. This is pretty dumb. Monkey looks like George Bush, doesn't it? One of the most bizarre traffic accidents of the year has taken place in northern India, where a monkey was stolen and crashed a bus. The monkey managed to stop the engine of the bus while the driver was digging it up. He even got it moving. Oh my God. The bus hit two other parked vehicles parked in a garage in Barely, Uttar Pradesh state, before the driver was able to regain control. The Chico had been parked at the local bus station between routes, and the conductor had stepped out for a break. And the driver, seizing an opportunity for a nap, stretched out in the back, leaving the keys in the ignition, and a monkey stole it and crashed it into two cars. Star Wars themed nativity celebration in New Jersey. At first, I thought I was going to be against this, but it's not really as dumb as it sounds. The way it was sold was dumb. New Brunswick, a New Jersey pastor and Star Wars enthusiast, is using the Force to tell the Christmas story this year. Liquid Church, a non-denominational contemporary Christian church, is holding cosmic Christmas services at multiple campuses that will weave parts of the Star Wars movies together with biblical theology. Pastor Tom Lucas, who is no relation to George Lucas, said, "Now, at first I thought, what kind of blasphemy is this? But it's not. They're using Star Wars characters the same way that Charles Dickens used Scrooge. They're not blasphemous here." Lucas, who was dressed as Han Solo for the occasion, said there were parallels between the Bible and Star Wars, particularly in the good versus evil cosmology. And we're telling the story of Christmas from the book of Revelations. It's the last book in the Bible, and it imagines on Christmas Eve this battle between Star Wars and the dark side and the light. So basically, they made a Christmas play based around Star Wars. That's not so bad. Guys, we've only got 3 stories left. The dumbest of the dumb. The stupid of the stupid. The moronic of the moronic. It's time. Gateway Pundits, leading far-left website for the Salon, which is a rag. White men must be stopped for the future of mankind. Salon.com, the future of life on the planet depends on bringing the 500-year-old rampage of white man to a halt. You know, the people that invented the wheel. Would be at a halt without us. For 5 centuries, his ever more destructive weaponry has become far too common. His widespread and better systems of exploiting other humans and nature dominate the globe. The time for replacing white supremacy with the new values is now. And keep in mind, there is no white supremacy. Just as some whites played a part in ending slavery, colonialism, and Jim Crow segregation in South African apartheid, there is surely a role for whites can play in restraining what other whites can do. Beneath the sound and fury generated by GOP candidates, Fox News website trolls, police unions, and others, white people are becoming aware, as never before, of past and present racism. Now, how with that? My family never owned slaves. What did it do with slavery? Most of my family wasn't even here during the slave days. And I was not part of the 1%. And if you weren't part of the 1%, your family never owned slaves either. Do you know that the few people that did own slaves are the people that are still in charge? It's not people like me. Admittedly, this encouraging development is hardly a dominant view. To the contrary, given the publicity that Donald Trump, Ted Cruz, and Ben Carson are for their ilk-making president, white supremacist ideology to be digging in harder than ever. So Ben Carson's black, and he still gets accused of having white ideology. Do you hear that? They listed a black man as someone furthering white supremacy. I told you we were at the dumbity of the dumb, didn't I? Salon is a stupid rag anyway. Now this pervert, I swear I was going to give the Dunce cap of the month to this freaking idiot pervert, selfish prick bastard. But I didn't because he's in Canada. And the correct is does not send to other countries. It costs too much. Now you can help me. correctviews@hotmail.com. Every penny you give me goes towards a better show. Donate. correctviews@hotmail.com. The correctviews@hotmail.com. PJ Dub, a transgender father abandoned 7 children to become a 6-year-old girl. A transgender, pervert, selfish bastard father, I might have added a few words there, who abandoned his 7 children to start a life as a 6-year-old girl, is being celebrated by some liberals as a shining example of diversity. Yeah, just abandon your wife and your kids. That's awesome. 46-year-old Stephanie Wolschott, WLSCHLTD, is being profiled by numerous media outlets. You can see the link on FactCam. After she revealed her story, I'll say his story, in a video premiere for the Transgender Project, another bunch of boneheads. Walsh is now dressing up and pretending to be a 6-year-old girl with her adopted family after being given an ultimatum by ex-wife, who said to stop being trans or leave. So instead of dressing up in women's clothing, he just abandoned his wife. Look at this idiot. Take a good look at this bonehead. Look at this sick pervert. Now again, I don't care if somebody is transgender. It doesn't bother me in the least. It really doesn't. To each their own. But here's what bothers me. This sick, twisted freak is being viewed as a hero. That's right, a hero. Walsh chooses to abandon her 23-year-old marriage, along with her 7 kids, and is now fulfilling, I should say, his role as little sister to her new parents and youngest granddaughter. If you're having trouble trying to understand this insanity, don't worry. In the video below, we'll make it even more clear. It makes you want to vomit. Now, she says she's a 6-year-old girl. She was going to be an 8-year-old girl. But the little girl that's in the family that adopted her and lets this freak play with their children and play girly with them, this family has adopted an eagle. I wanted to be the youngest, so I turned myself into a 6-year-old girl. There's a straitjacket waiting for this person in any country but ours, I swear. This is child abuse. And there's been other people that have said that the understanding grandparents are actually in a really weird, sick, twisted sexual relationship with him. And again, I don't care about that either. Like, look at the family he left behind. So you could dress up and pretend he's a little girl because you don't want to be an adult anymore. I have an adopted mommy and daddy, this freak said, who are totally comfortable with me being a little girl, and their children and grandchildren are totally supportive, said Walsh, who originally decided to be 8 years old, but then changed to being 6 years old so that she could be the youngest. We have a great time. We color and do kid stuff. It's called play therapy. No, it's called child abuse. The clip has received over 160,000 views, but feedback is overwhelmingly negative. I would imagine so. However, a majority of the respondents at the Independent article had a different opinion, saying, "Oh, that's great. Oh, yeah, that's just great. Abandon your family. That's wonderful." One commentator has it right. What this report doesn't tell you is that this person was charged with assault and abuse of his wife and family. They were awarded a restraining order against him. In other words, he abused them. He has been convicted of harassment and threatening a neighbor and being a peeping Tom, looking in windows. No, he's a sexual pervert. Could you imagine? They said he makes out with bikers. He invites bikers who want to pretend they're molesting a 6-year-old girl. They get in dresses and kiss this adult male and pretend that he's a 6-year-old girl. And the other kids are allowed to be around this. Also, his arrangement with his mommy and daddy is a sexual one. He has waxed lyrically about visiting a fetish club with his daddy and how girly he felt when daddy penetrated him for the first time. Did you hear that? So the daddy is in on this whole sex thing too. He is disturbed, violent, and a creepy fetishist. Commentators think it's okay for a 6-year-old girl to be brought into a situation to act as his playmate or sister. And what's wrong with you people? When will you wake up and smell the coffee about what is being pushed to some noble vanguard of trans rights? At least somebody has a little bit of common sense in all of Canada. Going over to our friends, the Gangi of the month, the Let's Get the Month Award is finally here. It's here. God, I've been doing this for over an hour. I'm all caught up on these. Finally. Dumpty. What's the Dumpty? All right, friends. It goes to Houston's Tomball Regional Medical Center. It's the only reason I'm here now, said the son, as he awakens from a quote, they said brain-dead state. After gun-toting dad engages in a 3-hour armed standoff with police to block doctors from pulling the plug on life support. Listen to this. This hospital should be shut down. It should be shut the hell down, or at least sold to none of the people that own this hospital should be allowed to have it. How about that? A father took a gun into a hospital to stop doctors taking his son off of life support. And during the 3-hour standoff, the young man squeezed his hand. Now, how many of you know about the little baby that woke up from being pulled off life support? We reported on that or on Christmas. Look it up. Curfew's baby beats death. The sign that he wasn't brain dead meant that he was kept alive, and he is now recovering and doing well. In other words, the father was right, the doctors were wrong. The father knows his son. He didn't want his kid to get Terry Shiloh'd, so they're calling him a criminal. Any other country would have called him a hero. His father, 59-year-old George Pickering II, was charged with 2 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon after marching into Tomball Regional Medical Center in Texas with a gun. Oh, as if he did it for no reason at all. His 27-year-old son, George III, had been declared brain dead after suffering massive strokes a stroke in January. After doctors declared that there was no more hope for him, they ordered a terminal wean, whereby life support is slowly withdrawn to end a life. Pickering's ex-wife and other son had agreed to the move, and the young man had been already placed on organ donation register. But Pickering Sr., it says, told KPRC they were moving too fast. The hospital, the nurses, the doctors, I knew if it had 3 or 4 hours that night that he would know whether or not George was really or not brain dead. So do you realize what's going on here? And they didn't even want to give the man 3 or 4 hours to see if he was brain dead or not. They couldn't wait to go ahead and yank the plug on this guy. During a 3-hour police standoff, Pickering threatened hospital staff. His other son was eventually able to get the gun from him. Pickering admitted to being drunk and aggressive, but said it was only because he knew that his son was not ready to die. During the standoff, Pickering's faith that his son had been misdiagnosed never wavered. And after he finally got the response he wanted from the boy, he surrendered peacefully to authorities. He's a hero. No, I'm not in favor of pulling a gun on somebody, but I'm not telling anybody to do it. No, I'm saying I'm going to do it. But you also don't pull the plug on somebody when there's hope. And you don't jump to saying there's no hope just so you can free up a hospital bed. During the 3 hours, George squeezed my hand 3 or 4 times on command, he said. His son later came out of the coma and is now fully recovered. The charges against Pickering were eventually reduced. He was released earlier this month. His son said, there was a law broken, but it was broken for all the right reasons, and I'm now here because of it. It was love. That's what it was. It was love. So here we go, friends. The Gangi Award is about to be read. Let me go ahead real quick, friends, and let you know. I didn't print it out yet, but there you go. You can see it. You can see right there the award. There it is. I'm going to print it out. I haven't been able to. I have been so backed up. And this show took me an hour and a half to put together, 2.5 months to compile, And I didn't print it, so I didn't make a long story short. The Dunce Cap of the Month Award. I'll show you the hat in a minute. The Dunce Cap of the Month Award goes to Tomball Regional Medical Center for not only rushing to pull the plug I wrote on a patient in spite of the wishes of his father, but for also for giving the father basically no choice but to brandish firearms to save his son from being murdered by your Tomball Hospital. The father was correct, and you and the quacks there at your miserable hellhole had the man arrested. You have the empathy equal to that of a black mamba and are a blight on the medical world. For this reason, you, at Tomball Regional Medical Center, win the Dunce Cap of the Month Award. You are quite vile. Here's the hat that I made. Yes, I made this one. There's a guy on a bed, a stick figure on the bed, said, "Don't kill me. Pull the plug, butchers." Man pulls gun to save his son. Arrest him. Quacks almost kill his son. Free. There you go, friends. That is your Dunce Cap of the Month Award show. My voice is giving out. I am tired. Please donate to the show at the correct views at hotmail.com. Good night, friends. I'm exhausted. God bless.